There has been agreement reached in principle between the government and Quebec doctors, and this, of course, is all over Bill 2. Now, I mentioned, of course, those are key words, an agreement reached in principle. It's going to go to all the members. And by the way, it's worth pointing out, when we were trying to get someone to come on and talk about this today, we were told that none of the doctors who are in this federation would be able to talk until tomorrow, because there will be a vote on this today. It's still possible that the doctors in the Doctors Federation, the association, will decide no. You may have reached an agreement in principle and vote against it. It's happened before in other situations, right? It could happen here as well. Aaron Durfel, the Gazette's award-winning health reporter, was on with Elias Makos earlier today. And Elias asked him basically just off the top for his reaction to this, because when you hear, a deal has been reached, you're thinking, well, this is great news. How did he react? This is what he said.
First of all, it's a tentative deal.
Yeah.
They're suspending the application of Loi 2 until February 28th. And the FMOQ is going to have to, the leadership has to get the feedback of the members. I think the members are pretty angry. But that does not resolve the fact that there's another doctors' federation, which is the Federation of Medical Specialists. They don't have a deal, and they're not in talks with the government. So obviously the government is trying to reach some type of a breakthrough. If they can get the family doctors on side, then they can move on to the Federation of Specialists, Medical Specialists. So there's obviously some progress, but it's not. It's just a reprieve. There's nothing really fully settled at this stage.
Interesting choice of words. It's a reprieve. It's not a done deal until everyone votes on it. Although if you heard François Legault earlier today, for him, this is a win.
C'est une excellente nouvelle, là. Une entente de principe avec les médecins de famille. Ça serait vraiment gagnant, gagnant, gagnant. Oh. Donc, gagnant pour les médecins, gagnant pour le gouvernement, puis surtout gagnant pour les patients.
Never heard the one use the word gagnant. Win, win, win. That's how the premier sees it. A little overly optimistic, maybe. Matt Gilmour, CTV News Montreal reporter, on the story today. Matt, you want to think it's good news because, of course, it's been going on back and forth for so long, and every day there's more bad news, right? Last week we had Tiny Tots deciding they're going to close by virtue of this. What are you hearing today?
Well, like you, we're having a really hard time getting any doctors to speak about this. The FMOQ said that they're not going to be giving any interviews until after they've presented the details to their members. Same thing that we experienced today, trying to reach out to individual doctors. They told us that they've been asked by the Federation not to speak. So the government as well, not giving any details. So everybody's being quite tight-lipped about this until at least tomorrow. We know that there's going to be a webinar that's held in the morning tomorrow, another one around noon. And then voting will open, basically allowing the doctors, members of the Federation, to basically have their say whether they want to vote yes and ratify this agreement or not. It may be a little while until we find out exactly how they voted, though. It sounds like they're going to have a few days or perhaps a week to vote. All we know is that they're going to have a chance to express themselves before the holiday break. So this is something that's going to perhaps take a little while until we have a firm answer. But it is interesting, though, that Christian Dubé did say today that he's going to introduce that bill that you mentioned to extend the sort of implementation of Bill 2 until the end of February. He's going to introduce that bill in the National Assembly tomorrow. So regardless of, it seems, of whether the doctors ratify or not, this will be, the deadline will be extended till the end of February either way.
So and I'm trying to understand this part of it. The idea is this is just being pulled off the table for now. They're not going back and saying we're going to completely change this bill. They're just saying we're going to suspend implementation until 2 years down the road. Is that accurate?
Well, 2 months, but it sounds like they're suspending the implementation to give them time to amend the bill, which would be essentially, work in this agreement with the family doctors into the structure of the bill. So it sounds like that's what they're giving themselves time to implement this agreement if it's ratified by the members.
Okay. I said 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, meant 2 months.
It's okay.
Okay. Matt, thank you very much. I appreciate the update. All right. One other issue here. Paul Brunet, who we have spoken to from time to time, he's a patient's right advocate. I'm curious, Mr. Brunet, what you think about what you heard today. Are you optimistic based on this?
Well, it's encouraging, better than before where we didn't have any either accord or accord in principle. So we have to see. It might, how do you say it, reassure patients to a certain extent. I'm just hoping that doctors who threaten to leave are going to wait and see what's going to happen and vote yes or no for tomorrow. Because, especially in the Outaouais-Gatineau region, lots of doctors have decided to move on and go to Ontario. So we need to see, but, today I feel optimistic like Mr. Prime Minister said.
I would ask to do not with this story, but another terrible story we heard this morning, and I know you and I have spoken about situations for seniors in this province. Tragically, another senior citizen, a woman, 84 years old, ended up outside of a senior center in the middle of the night, ended up not being dressed for that, and sadly, tragically, this morning died. I think this is the third time this has happened basically in the past month and a half, so to which my question would simply be, what's going on?
Well, good question. The first question I want to ask, and unfortunately I didn't get the data on as we speak, what was the condition of this person? If this person is incapable, she needed to be more protected in a unit wherever she was admitted, in a unit where they protect those kind of patients. Protecting means lock the doors. Not capable patients. Unfortunately, in some private RPAs, I'm hearing that some residents who are totally capable are stuck being blocked without being able to leave. It's a complete mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
So, Class 3 it should be free because Class 3 doesn't talk about loss of autonomy, mental autonomy. The problem is that the bylaw mixes Class 3 and Class 4. So, depending on first the condition of the person, I suspect that when you leave in the night without appropriate dress, that you might be to some extent afflicted with a mental health. If such is the case, what was the way she was admitted? How did it work? What were the equipments? What was the way that they treated those kind of patients? In some RPAs, they are invited by the CIS or CIS to admit some of those patients without having adapted to start with the premises.
When I say this is the third time this has happened, I mean, we're not even at the end of the year. You hate to think this could continue to happen, but, if it happens once, okay, that's something we ask the questions about. But when it's happened as often as it does, where's the failure in the system here as far as you're concerned?
Well, I haven't gotten all the facts involving those stories, but what I suspect is that if the person was not admitted in a circumscribed premises, of course there are risks that the owners of this residence incurred, and to that extent you have that kind of failure in the system. But again, you cannot admit and treat in the same fashion patients or residents who are totally capable and patients who are incapable.
Right.
So I want to see and hear of how, first, the condition of the person, and second, how she was admitted and where was she living, if it was protected or not.
All right, we'll wait until we can access more information on this story. Monsieur Brunet, I always appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Take good care.
Paul Brunet, patients' rights activist here in Quebec.
Canadian women are looking for more out of themselves, their businesses, their elected leaders, and the world around them.
And that's why we're thrilled to introduce the Honest Talk podcast.
I'm Jennifer Stewart.
And I'm Catherine Clark. And in this podcast, we interview Canada's most inspiring women.
Entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, politicians, and newsmakers, all at different stages of their journey.
So if you're looking to connect, then we hope you'll join us.
Listen to the Honest Talk podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your podcasts.